What's the most hurtful thing you've overheard about yourself by accident? Hi Reddit guys, subscribe now to make me happy. I was copied into an email conversation where about 10 messages earlier one of my employees had described me as an idiot and suggested to the recipients that they didn't get me involved in the situation they were discussing. I'd always thought we got on well and it knocked my confidence. It sounds like one of your employees wanted you to know about the shoot talk and the situation. It sucks to hear crappy things, but I think someone was actually looking out for you. Don't underestimate how stupid people are at using Outlook. Every week I get invites to random meetings followed by please disregard previous email. I was trying to add the meeting to my calendar and accidentally invited every single employee worldwide. Overheard my mum telling my aunt that she hated me as a person. I was 13. Overheard someone saying they didn't want to work with me. I don't know why, considering I barely knew them. It definitely hurt though. I've had this happen at my work as well. Plus people saying I'm a frick up. I've only fricked up things that everyone else has admitted to also fricking up before. I'm under the impression all my co-workers are just dongs. Because I try to keep to myself, do my work and go home. They always talk shit about the cars I buy and bring to work too. I don't understand why. It's none of their business what I do in my free time. I buy and sell cars. I have new to me cars every other week. They tell me I'm an idiot for buying them, but I'm just doing the maintenance and cleaning them up to sell them for a profit. And maybe make someone happy and sell them their dream car. They're probably jealous aunts cause you actually have a cool hobby that you make work for you. Glad to hear they haven't affected you. I had just moved into my dorm for my second year of college. My roommate was my best friend since 9th grade. My stuff hadn't arrived yet, and it was my time to register, so I asked him if I could use his computer. He said sure. I sat down, and he had AIM open to a conversation with another friend of ours. I didn't scroll up, but from what was just visible on screen, they were talking about how weird I was and how awful it would be rooming with me. I closed it so he wouldn't realize later I'd seen it, registered, and left. We still lived together that year, but we didn't hang out at all. We just cohabited. I never asked him to hang out as friends. He never asked me. Move out day that year was the last time we spoke. That was over 10 years ago. We chatted every day for 6 years, then haven't spoken since. I still don't know if I did or said something to flip how he felt about me, or if he never really liked me to begin with. The possibility of the latter really fricks up your future friendships. Hell, the former does too. Knowing apparently you're capable of unknowingly saying or doing something to throw away a 5-year friendship. I've been kinda messed up the last 7 months because my BFF of 15 years just stopped talking to me. Don't know if I did something wrong or what. We live in different states, but talked 5 days a week and visited often. All of a sudden she stopped answering when I called. Who does that to a person they've supposedly cared about? Definitely makes me question a lot of things. How good of a friend I am. How I choose friends. Do I attract shooty people? Made me isolate myself further over the summer. Why even try to have friends? My dog likes me. I'll stick with that. As someone who went through something similar, I don't know what happened. Over 13 years of friendship, this friend would verbally communicate to me that she didn't want to be my friend twice before. Each time I had a new boyfriend. With my last relationship we married, she kind of just distanced herself before we got engaged. It's not like we weren't hanging out. We hung out a lot, and I didn't talk about my relationship in detail. Because, well, she gave shooty advice. She deleted me off Instagram. Then called me one day to ask if she could apply at my job. I asked why she'd ask. She said she wanted to make sure we'd be cool. Considering nothing bad was said or done before that, it was so confusing. I took that as another I don't want to be your friend anymore moment. Third time. It hurt me to not invite her to our wedding a year later, and the last time we spoke was 2 weeks after I got engaged, before that another month. I just didn't see a reason to after our last conversation of the job. I never understood why she would continually choose to unfriend me, and at first I thought maybe I was a bad friend whenever I had a boyfriend. But the man I married, we were in a long distance, so her and I hung out every weekend. I was there for her through a lot of crazy stuff. It made me wonder and still makes me wonder if I'm a shooty person, but I have other long-term friends, same amount of time, who have never ever acted in such a way, even through rough stuff. I'm sorry. Sometimes people push away those they're closest to. I haven't tried reaching out to her. I probably won't ever. I do believe people sometimes don't even have a true reason for their actions. Maybe she had feelings for you and every time she saw you in a relationship it was too hard on her. Everyone I'd invited to my first sleepover laughing while reading my diary entries about how my dad had been abusing me. I'd left the room and one had gone snooping. It was worse when they wouldn't stop or give it back when I burst in and pleaded with them to. Then everyone laughed even harder. That was the first and last time I wrote anything real like that in a diary. Holy shoot. That is brutal. I hope they also have that memory and now with the developed worldview of an adult lay awake in bed at night over it. I think this was 9th grade. A girl I had a crush on, but hadn't really talked to at all, was moving away. A few days before she moved I overheard her saying, "Yeah, I'll miss pretty much everyone. But I'll tell you one person I won't miss. Sanskrit. That kinda sucked. If it makes you feel any better, in middle school I asked out a boy I liked on the 1st of April. He said yes. Then I still proceeded to say April Fools. Didn't pan out too well. I don't know what made me think being a jackass would make him fall for me, but Zach, if you're out there, I'm so terribly sorry. A girl I really liked at the time asked me out to her dance and I laughed at her because I thought she must have been joking, but she was not joking. She said she was hurt that I thought she was joking, but for some god-awful reason I never corrected the situation. To be honest, I'm pretty sure now 10+ years later she still thinks I wasn't into her. I thought a girl was joking when she asked me to her dance, but then she kept asking so many times there was no way she could have been joking. Turns out she was still joking, so I'm not sure how you're supposed to play this game. My dad saying he expected my twin sister to do great things. Not so bad until he followed it up with "I don't know what we'll do about my name, though." He still doesn't know I heard that and I plan to keep it that way. The best revenge is a life well lived. That's the plan. You show him my name. Please tell me a life of barely coping and constantly playing catch up to where you should have been 10 years ago is the second best revenge. When I was in middle school art class something funny happened and I let out a loud laugh. I then overheard one of my childhood best friends whisper to another person, "God, I hate Trader 2488's laugh." I immediately looked at him and said, "What?" And he just looked down at the table like he didn't hear me. This actually made me change my laugh. It's completely different from what it used to be. I didn't know it's possible to change your laugh. Went out to a bar with some friends for a birthday party for my ex-girlfriend. She really messed me up when she left me, like really bad, but I was trying to be nice since she invited me, so I figured I'd go out and be there for a drink or two. So, a mutual friend who had been broken up with a few days before and was there, so as I made the rounds I talked to her and tried to do whatever I could to let her know it would be okay. I'm no therapist, but I did my best, you know. I knew what a bad breakup felt like, as I was also going through one. So I tried to help. Anyways, after I left the table I overheard her talking to my ex at the bar about me trying to give her advice, and she said, "Well, nobody has ever loved him, so what does he know about any of this?" And they started laughing. Don't think they know I heard, but I grabbed my coat immediately and took a long walk home. I don't need people like that in my life. Haven't willingly seen either of them since. Good call. Frick those people. You're better off without people like them in your life. From what I can see, they don't deserve you as a friend anyways. When my oldest sister died, my older sister was crying to my mother about how she felt alone. My mother was trying to reassure her and said, You still have Vamped Vixen though. But my sister said, who cares about her? I want oldest sister back. I kinda get it. But this was around the same time my mother told me to my face that it should have been me who died instead, because I don't have a husband or kids like my oldest sister did. It seemed like absolutely no one wanted me in my family and they all wished I could have switched places with the one we lost. People wonder why I'm depressed now. The frick? Frick those people. I can't believe people are like that. Not only people, it's her parents. Frick that. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Red heart. My grandparents whispering at the table about how terrible I am and how I'm a real mess. Then acted all normal and cozy to me. I was 14. Been there. This is the worst. I think most of us were a real mess as young teens. 14 is a confusing age. In a reverse, my grandma was Japanese and I'm a girl, so she hated my guts and basically ignored my existence for the entire time I knew her, 19 years. When she died, a lot of her church friends at the funeral came up to me and talked about how much she loved me and how she'd talk about me almost every day. I was like, what the frick? Okay Reddit guys, subscribe now to make me happy.